Wow.
3 vaccines yesterday. My arm is a little bit sore today.
Yeah.
Not only that, I was wondering was this morning I woke up, I'm like, wow, I'm kind of like,
Everybody's got, yeah. Breakfast is wonderful.
no, please don't. I just don't want to, I don't want to hide my face. It's always, that would be nice.
I'll order some new meat.
I try not to put any mustard on it. This gotta have some smaller one. All right.
Sean, let's show these ladies my
Hey, thank you so much.
grandson. You still have that picture, or should I send it to you again?
Whew.
So these folks aren't coming, the other ones, empty seats?
Their attendance went down, and then our second hour guest, I've got room for him in the
Okay.
back. So we
All right.
are ready to rumble.
Ready to rumble.
Everyone see a picture of my grandson up on the screen there? I got him golf clubs for his second birthday a month ago, and we went to the driving range.
Ridiculous. The kid is too.
He's a natural.
That is definitely a young way to start, for sure.
Yeah. Of course. Might as well start early.
Yeah, you see little minis up on the ski slope. Yeah, they just got to get them going. It's like language skills. Got to get them going early.
True that.
Also, if you take a minute to look to your left, my mother passed in August and left me her 6-burner, 2-oven, 2-broiler Wedgwood gas stove over there, which was the only thing I asked for from her estate. I said, Mom, when are you going to kick the bucket? Because I really want that stove. And she kept
hanging on.
She kept giving me the old. But no,
as you deserve.
Yeah.
And then on the top, the picture in the center is me about 5 years ago driving her to her bridge club, which she was in for 75 years. And in the incredible shrinking woman. I know you guys have probably lost some inches. I've lost an inch already, and I'm just a youngster.
I lost an inch.
inch.
I lost an inch and a half.
Inch and a half
Either
already?
that or they lied to me when they told me I was 5'7".
We're not even going to talk to Pamela about it because she thinks she's growing taller.
She's a phenomenon.
How's the blueberry muffin? You know, Chef Annie, Amy, and is it Emily? Emily and are hard working this morning. They've got an event out in the front, in the Galleria, right? Also, or not? Yeah. And then are they coming in here later? Such a nice light muffin.
A muffin like this you don't find everywhere.
But you can eat all at once.
The chefs here live in terror of Tom's critique every week at breakfast. Oh dear. There was a big hubbub about the muffins.
They don't seem to be much in terror.
Yeah, they look pretty calm.
They learned a few things from my mother, like it's amazing. It's amazing, Eamon, how good that Krusty's muffin mix has gotten over the years.
Don't let him do that to you.
didn't like them. They cooked them before and,
They had made the batter the night before and preset.
okay. That was the downfall.
We expect perfection for our guest.
Yes, we.
Yes, they did. Only perfection.
That's why we have Laura.
There's no such thing as one step above perfection.
Just like there is no such thing as 110%.
That's like saying very perfect. It's either perfect or it's not perfect, but you can't
What would be
you can't be
perfect
very perfect.
is if we started the show.
Spoken like a true producer. Let's go, guys.
You know what my mom says?
She never said that to me.
No, she didn't. She loved you.
Good morning, YouTubers.
YouTube is on this camera here and on this camera here. So if you're having an illicit affair, you probably want to duck the cameras.
I don't know what our Lisa's celebrating if she's here illicitly, but she's hiding in the back.
Cameras aren't on them. So,
Okay, that's
yeah.
good.
All right, welcome to the Hot Stove Society show on Cairo Radio. We're happy to have you with us. I'm Tom Douglas.
And I'm Terry Rotero, the chef in the hat.
We are two lonely chefs because Terry, you had to close all your restaurants,
That's
and
right.
now you're consulting on a gig down at Lulu
Sure.
at the airport, right?
Yep.
And me, on the other hand, I have given some ownership of my joints to some of my teammates. and
Finally.
so they keep booting me.
They should.
I
Tom.
should have had that in my contract.
Everybody has a page in history. It's a chapter is written. Come on.
Are you
move on.
saying Natasha Bedingfield said that?
I'm saying you did your
It's
8 days.
unwritten.
You need to move sideways.
No, I'm still working like a dog. We have a live audience today. Where are you guys from today?
Bellwood.
I should have known that. In Issaquah, Bellwood is visiting us today. Their second time, I believe, as a group. So we're excited to have them in our audience. We're at the Hotel Andra. It's been remodeled beautifully. There's all sorts of things going on. We'll talk to you a little bit about a staycation that we're offering here later in the show. We're at 4th Virginia in downtown Seattle. So if you know where Lola is, or the old Dahlia and Dahlia Bakery, or Serious Pie is, like, we're right there in the heartbeat of downtown Seattle. If you want tickets like the fine Bellwood folks, you just go to hotstovesociety.com and come to our show. Annie and Eamon and Emily are making a beautiful breakfast for us this morning of a Spanish tortilla, some chorizo sausages, a delicious light and fluffy blueberry muffin, and I think, what else is on that breakfast? Do you remember?
Coffee,
Tea, you name.
Chart.
I mean, you
Chart.
get the whole.
Oh
you
yeah,
get the,
and
you
our
get the whole
lovely
caboose.
Swiss chard. Remember the Swiss chard?
Yeah.
You know, our hippy dippy producer Pamela doesn't eat ruby chard.
Yeah.
I do now.
How can you be a hippie and not eat chard?
I've seen the light
You've seen the light. Okay. And the
So-
stems.
and the stems.
You've seen the stems too, because we cook it all here. Some classes upcoming here at the Hot Stove. Thai street food. I don't know why I can't talk. It's the blueberry muffin, I think. Thai street food brunch on 422 with the faux broth dumplings on 428 and a sumptuous cookbook dinner. Pasta for all seasons with popular chef Michaela Tartaglia.
Nicely
And I
done.
had a little glass of wine with Michaela down at her place because I got to see her new cookbook.
Oh, is it out already?
Oh yeah, it's out.
Because you get that class includes a copy of the book.
Oh, maybe
Oh, wow.
I saw it early on. Maybe I saw an early copy of me. It's just coming on. But yeah, that's on 512. And she is a hoot. If you want to see a piece of a slice of Seattle's ethnic love, come see Michaela. She'll talk to you in Italian, she'll talk to you in English, and she'll talk a combination at the same time.
And the name of a place is?
Casalingua down there in the Pike Place Market. So it's, if you're ever going up like to behind De Laurentiis in that little market courtyard there, her restaurant is right there. And
And she's like an institution in that market too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so it's super fun to sit and have a glass of wine, a little bowl of pasta, which is exactly what I did, and I enjoyed going through her new book with her. So super cool. I mentioned Pamela, our producer. Sean is here, our technical director. Pamela, tell us about our giveaway that we have, our staycation here at the Hotel Andra with dinner at either Lola or across the street at Serious Pie, whatever you're in the mood for. By then, by Mother's Day, Palace Kitchen will be open, so you can
Oh,
choose
boy,
that
you could
too if you
choose
wanted.
that.
So tell us about what people have to do, because behind you is, I think, the inspiration.
Well, we're obsessed with stoves,
Yes.
and we're honored to have your mom's stove here. And we want to see what kind of stoves you either grew up with or are cooking with now.
Uh-huh.
So we've asked people to send me a picture.
Did you see Betsy's picture?
Yeah, it was beautiful. I forgot about those double deckers.
The Frigidaire Flare.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Flare.
awesome.
It's going to be hard to compete with that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm saying there's a little Wedgwood 6-burner sitting.
You're
right
not
behind
winning
you.
the contest.
Oh,
so.
okay.
You're not
So-
playing the contest, Tom.
So you got a night here. You got tickets to the radio show. You got dinner at one of our joints, and it's all for just a picture and a little bit of a story. I personally want to know what you loved off of that stove, because my mother made delicious Schnecken in her ovens, which is a cinnamon roll pull apart from her German heritage that her mother made and that her mother Duchess made. So
Wow.
there's a lot of Schnecken coming out of those. A lot of cookies, a lot of turkeys came out of that stove. So
send the picture to me.
right, it doesn't have to be a picture of the food, but I was just curious what you loved coming off of that stove.
At least tell us what you're making with it.
And you have a Hot Point
I have
1950 something.
52,
Uh-huh.
but it doesn't look half as good as this one. But it's definitely useful and it still works.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've used that stove for 35 years now. And,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes my wife says, well, you know, it'd be nice to, I'm like, nope, it's nice.
Nope.
I
Well,
mean,
we're gonna.
Till we crack the purse and change the whole kitchen, because my kitchen would not be suitable for a professional stove, so I would have to change the whole kitchen.
Yeah.
But
That's why I put a hood in. I have a 5-foot hood in my
Right.
kitchen at home. So.
yeah, I mean that's what I would want in my kitchen too. And so I'm like, no, we're not doing that yet.
We're going to put a little video online of our new stove here at the Hot Stove Society, and Pam is going to take. You going to take the video for me?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. One of the things that people love about my mom's stove when they go to look at it is they open it up and they can't believe that she cooked for 70 years for
I
a
know.
family of 10 on that stove.
It
and
looks like,
it
a show,
looks
it looks
brand
like
new.
it's from a showroom.
Yeah. She loved taking care of that thing. All right. What's your favorite taste of the week, sir?
I did a little trip to Canless restaurant. Some friend took us
Really?
to Canless. I had been to Canless in a few years, obviously. During obviously COVID, I went there during the crab feast and all that stuff, but not inside the restaurant having dinner. Delicious. It reminded me of how few of those restaurants we have left in this city in terms of that style of dining, that style of care. You know, a giant wine list, incredible service. You know, people everywhere. I'm like, oh my God, they have so many servers. All I could think about was ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Peril. I feel for them. But absolutely, you know, beautiful service. And we had a nice, beautiful table overlooking, you know, the lake and everything. It was absolutely, it just reminded me how much of a Seattle institution Canless is. And, you know, you and I have mentioned how, you know, it was such an institution, especially during the COVID time. I felt like they were holding the flag of the city, like, let's not give up and let's keep going, you know, and do something and get creative. And
They
It was-
sure did. That was
it was very
marvelous.
remarkable to see that. And it's very cool to go and visit that institution once in a while.
Yeah. So fun. Well,
Yep.
good for you. That's on my list. Every time I'm like a last minute guy, and you just can't get in there last minute.
Yeah, no, but you got to go to the bar. They have a lounge bar and, you know, they move
Yeah.
through.
And generally I have shorts on. They frown on shorts too. Love those guys. They've done an incredible job.
Yeah.
Up next, get out of the rut for breakfast and try some of these ideas, like a bowl of pho. When we come back on Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Bowl
Yeah,
of
the
pho.
drop
yours?
today.
Okay, Sean, we're going. We have to make up time. Somebody got a little slow getting started here.
Yeah.
That clock is fast.
Welcome back. It's the Hot Stove Society Show in Cairo. Got a lively audience here today. The team is busy making their Spanish breakfast for everyone. You guys excited about that? I certainly am
Oh,
too.
they are.
Pamela, breakfast. I don't know. I've probably told you my story about when Loretta was going to SAS up at 12th and Madison for years, Seattle Academy of Arts and Sciences.
Yep.
I would drop her off at the school and then drive right down 12th, right into the parking lot of Faubourg,
Right.
and sit there and have at 8 o'clock in the morning, I would have my big bowl of beef noodle soup. And it was, in my mind, the perfect way to start the day. People look at me like I'm crazy about that, but it really is.
It
You
is.
just feel
It is-
good after
It
eating
is incredible. I used to do that going to a Rebel in Renton and exercise and come back
Uh-huh.
via Réunion and stop at, oh my God, I lost his name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oxtail Pho.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my, Baba.
Eric Bond.
Sorry, I totally lost Baba. Stop at Baba at like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, you get a nice bowl of oxtail pho in the morning. Your day will definitely be better.
What is your favorite thing, Miss Hinckley?
I have been exploring tinned fish more deeply.
Oh, you have
And
not for
I-
breakfast?
Yeah, and I'm
What?
I'm crazy into sardines right now. So my favorite thing is
I am
I
gonna
am
make.
calling you out.
You know
right
what?
now.
Me too. Me too. I'm gonna make it for you, and you're gonna have to eat it in front of me.
totally beautifully sliced avocado,
huh.
squeeze of lemon juice,
Yeah. Huh.
flake salt,
Yeah.
open a tin of sardines,
Sure.
get a little bit of the sardine oil,
For
and
breakfast. You're saying for breakfast. This
Yeah.
is a breakfast segment,
This
right?
would be my lunch, not my
No,
breakfast.
this is breakfast
Okay.
because you want the protein and all that good lift from the
Yeah,
avocado.
Sure. That sounds good on paper.
But I recently discovered a perfect product in the supermarket from a beloved producer, Maya Kamal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little packet. They call it Everyday Doll. And it's red lentils, butternut squash, and coconut. And you just warm it up in a little saucepan. I usually add a little bit of water so it comes out in texture like oatmeal. But it is so delicious and comforting and warm. And I can't wait for you to try it. I want everybody to go buy it. It's on sale almost everywhere now. 2 packets for $7.
Wow.
And it's a serving size for 2. And it's
Sure.
spectacular.
That's for two.
Yeah,
So Mike will actually eat this in the
he
morning.
That's a
loves
lot.
it. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Interesting. Well, I will say it looks a lot more interesting than a bowl of oatmeal.
Yeah.
And it looks more interesting than sardines and avocado first thing in the morning. I mean, that
So,
doesn't fit my coffee.
One of the great things about having a bowl of pho in the morning is that it does what you just said about your avocado. It does give you the lift in the
Yeah.
morning that sometimes peanut butter toast does not. Or,
Right.
Or that's I tend to have. I keep our. I keep our pecan and flaxseed bread sliced in my freezer from the Dahlia Bakery.
Good idea.
And then I just make toast in the morning and put on the CB Nuts sea salt peanut butter. But it doesn't make me feel a certain way. Whereas a bowl of pho brightens my day.
Yes,
and-
that's what I'm trying to get to with these breakfast alternatives.
Uh-huh.
So I always have fish stock in my freezer, and that's also a good one to have for pho. Pho is, basically a broth with something in it, right? That's ultimately what it is.
With fish stock?
With fish stock, you just do a fish stock and you do a cod, or you can do halibut. Right now, there's beautiful halibut in season, and you do that with some noodles and some vegetables. You could do some bok choy, put the whole thing together, and then put your halibut sliced super thin. Just drop it in there after it boils, and the fish cooks instantly, and you get a wonderful seafood broth.
That sounds like a great
It's
addition.
really good in the morning, especially with a little grated ginger that gives you a little perk right in the morning. Absolutely. Better than sardines on the toast, I can tell you that. And I'm still, I mean,
I
would have
only
that-
eat sardines on saltines.
I would have that for lunch, no problem. But for breakfast,
Hmm.
I mean, I'm
Do
not.
you have an innovative egg twist? You are our egg master here.
Well, I don't know if it's an innovative, but I love eggs any style in the morning. Probably one of my favorite way is a nice piece of Dahlia Bakery boule of bread, nicely toasted, brown toasted, and an egg that is 5 minutes poached. I mean, 5 minutes boiled. Then
Very-
you take it out, you crack the shell. It's
You like
very soft.
runny.
You crack the shell, and then you crack it in half and put it and spread it all over that toast. And a beautiful slice of soft bacon.
So
on
a
top.
soft boiled egg.
Soft boiled egg
Yeah.
and a soft bacon. I'm not a crispy bacon kind of guy. I'm a soft bacon kind of guy. And
You're like my father. My father would just warm it up. It was so gross.
oh no, but good bacon. I mean, like really delicious
I know what
bacon.
you're
I don't
saying.
mean like no Oscar Mayo. How's that?
Does anyone need a knife for their sausages out there? Are you okay? Okay, you're all good. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I think a lot of people get a little squeamish about rare bacon, but even when it's good.
Yeah, but it's
because-
not rare. It's cooked. It's just not cooked as fast and as crispy
Okay.
as if you leave it in the pan longer. I could get it longer crispy, but I like it a little bit softer.
I never loved eggs in the morning until I was at there were two things that kind of turned my head. One was when we were staying at Juliana's just outside of Alba, and every morning she would bring us a soft boiled egg in those little cute little egg cups.
It
Mhm.
was the
And
egg
you-
cup that did it for you.
Yeah, and you just kind of break it open and you scoop the egg out with your spoon, and that was never a thing for me. We had those growing up, and I hated them, but for some reason, at this little agricole in Alba, Italy, it
They
tasted
taste
good.
different.
I mean, it's common in France to have that on the bar. Like
Yeah.
you stop on your way to work and you have a double espresso, and you have a half a soft boiled egg with with a nice big long crouton to go inside
Uh-huh.
to dunk in it, and you eat your egg like that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
And now here in our market, you can just buy a hard boiled egg. You can't buy
Right.
the soft boiled eggs, but you
Right.
can buy a hard boiled egg.
Yeah, these are.
And
pretty
then the
soft.
other egg that I had was changed my mind on omelets, and I've told you this before, I believe. But I was at a cafe. I was in Paris for some reason by myself, and I was outside the Louvre, and there was like there are on every corner brasseries.
Sure.
And I was in some brasserie Louvre, and I had a little goat cheese and fine herb omelet for some reason because I hate omelets. I did at the time, and it was the best omelet I ever tasted. And I have made a million omelets, and it's just not something I would make for myself, but now I do.
Right.
I think part of the key is a thin omelet.
Yeah.
It's not a big thick thing like you get in the
Yeah, two
here.
egg omelet.
Yeah. So let it spread out in the pan, and you're better off even folding it twice rather
Right.
than having a thicker egg on your omelet.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's what really gets things wrong. And the other thing that gets things wrong is when you undercook it like you do. You like a soupy omelet, which I can't
Oh,
stand.
I like it.
I gotta have
runny.
my eggs
you like
runny,
it runny
man.
too?
My
Yeah.
eggs have to be runny.
There's some things about you I need to learn because
It's true.
you've changed a little
I have.
bit from your for you to walk into this kitchen and say you have avocado and sardines on toast for
And
breakfast.
runny eggs.
Is yeah. I'm still not sure I believe it, even though you looked me right in the eye and told me it was so. I'm not sure I believe it. Sean, how we doing on time here?
I've
Okay.
got I saw a recipe, and Terry, imagine you've done this, where they treated the eggs like crepe batter and made very thin layers and then stacked them with herbs
Right.
and goat cheese. So it kind of looked like a crepe cake.
Yeah. At the end, you roll it and you fold it, in square. It looks like a crepe that's folded. Yeah, you gotta have a non-stick pan, and you gotta have a wider pan, like an 8-10 inch pan with only 2 eggs, and you spread them, so it's very thin.
Yes, and I think that. And do you go for crispy edges, or do you keep
Well,
it?
depends on your heat, but if you have a little bit higher of a heat, it will crisp up right away. So it become more like an Indian. No, I mean, what do you call the large crepe for breakfast?
A roti?
Roti, like
yeah.
a roti.
The
You
one
know,
that
it's
I
like-
love is the Japanese tamago.
Yeah.
Which they
Oh, yeah,
make in
yeah.
the little rectangle pan. So I bought one of those rectangle pans because I love that little sweet omelet. I can't make one for
Really?
my life depend on it because they kind of rotate it back and forth and get the layer after
Yeah,
layer after
yeah,
layer.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
No.
You gotta
Oh,
be
let's do
patient.
Not in
that.
my D-
You
not
gotta
in my
be
DNA.
patient,
I
Tom.
know I'm not that patient. On Cairo Radio, we're going to be right back with more when we welcome cookbook authors Aaron Bunting and Joe Fasser talk about their new book, Edible Flowers. 97.3 FM.
Fantastic. Tom, can I?
Are you hungry in Ireland?
Good morning, Erin and Joe. This is Pamela.
Good morning.
Hi, how are
Hi.
you?
I was just when we do the tape the show, we also have a live audience. So I was taking your book to show to our beautiful guests, and like me, they are just drooling over the beauty that you have created. So
Oh, thank
we're-
you. Thank you so much.
we're really
kind.
honored to have you here today.
Can you
Thank
clear
you.
up
It's lovely to be here.
pronunciations for us?
Would you say your last name so that Tom and Terry say them correctly when they introduce you?
So it's Erin Bunting and Joe Facer.
All right.
Facer.
And the beautiful accent.
Joe
Love it.
Facer and Erin Bunting. I'm trying to say no Irish accent there.
Well, we have one. Yeah, we have one Londoner. Joe's
Oh, okay.
Londoner, and I'm from Northern Ireland. So
Have you ever heard of the band of Folky McFolkface?
I hope that's not a real band.
Is that a no?
I'm not familiar.
I'm not familiar with that band.
I hired them to come over to Scotland at my golf club one time to do a gig for a group over there, and they were terrific. There were a couple of
Oh, wow.
Irish, I think 4 or 5 Irish folks that met in Seattle, of all places, and
That's
live in Ireland
amazing.
and play their music. Folky McFolkface.
Terrible
Wow.
name.
I know the name is like unbelievable.
Oh,
It
wow.
sounds very Irish to
Can't
me for
find
some reason.
So we've got 2 separate segments. And Tom, do you want to dig into their history before they started gardening and how they got there?
How they got there, and then the second segment will kind of focus on some recipes.
Recipes from the book. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay.
What should we say about our children? I don't know what.
Oh yeah, our children are next door watching TV.
Yeah.
Sort of slight childcare issues, but you know they shouldn't interrupt us. But
If they do, it would be charming.
You know, here in the
Okay,
States, here in the States, we have a thing called duct tape.
Well, they've been bribed with Easter chocolate. I was like, if you stay in there and don't come in until I come back again, then you will get some Easter chocolates.
Nice.
Oh.
Gift that keeps on giving. Chocolate.
Yes, well, it has to be rationed. They're only 4, so sort of. Yeah.
Are they twins?
They're twins, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I got twins in my daughter. Well, I should. How do I say that? My daughter has twins in the oven right now.
And
Oh wow.
Yeah,
So
boy and a
good news
girl.
to her.
you have 2 girls?
Yeah, 2 girls.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's fun. That sounds like a lot of
Yes.
mischief.
Yeah.
It is.
Pamela is a great babysitter. So if you need
Yeah.
help,
Phone me up. I'm on the plane.
Maybe we'll come to Seattle.
There you go. On the tour.
drop them off. What's it called? Sorry.
Yeah.
drop them off. Right.
Drop them off.
Every parent's dream. I was just going to drop them off. All right, here we go. Back in the hot stove kitchen, it's Tom Douglas
And Thierry Roturo, the chef in a hat.
we are on the fabulous Zoom. You know, it still amazes me how our lives changed 3 years ago and everyone went on Zoom. But we are on it and talking with Erin Bunting and Joe Facer. They have a new book out called The Edible Flower, a modern guide to growing and cooking and eating edible flowers. And if you're a picture book cookbook person, this is the book for you.
Oh, yeah. The visual are absolutely outstanding.
Outstanding. And then, Chef, you said to me when you walked in, say, what else can they do to flowers that haven't been done already? And then
Yeah.
you opened, the first thing you looked at was the rice paper wrapped fresh Vietnamese.
And
spring
what did I
rolls.
say? I said,
You said,
wow,
wow.
really cool.
Really cool. So,
So,
there's a lot you can do with
Yeah,
flowers
no,
that
of
we
course.
didn't quite realize. But we'd like to welcome them from Ireland onto the show on Zoom and into your headphones or however you're taking in our show. Maybe you're watching us on our YouTube channel. So
Perhaps.
welcome, Erin and Joe.
Hi, really glad to be here.
Thank you so much for having us.
We are hoping that your kids kind of run in and ruin this thing for us because we like to see how
We're
people
hoping they don't.
respond to that. Tell us about your backgrounds a bit and how you got started in the culinary world.
Do you want to go first, Erin?
Yeah, like we both had completely different backgrounds before. We met at university, so quite a long time ago now. And I was studying history of art, and Joe was studying engineering, and then I went on to have a kind of career in arts management in London. I'm from the North of Ireland originally, and went to university in England, and then stayed there for a good long time afterwards, and had a career in arts management. And really, I spent quite a lot of time helping other people be creative. It's kind of quite a lot of my work was around kind of facilitating other people's creativity, organizing events to help them connect with the right kind of clients for their work and that type of thing. And I just felt like maybe I quite wanted to be creative myself. So I went to, about 8 years ago now, I went to Ballymaloo Cookery School, which is a famous cookery school in the south of Ireland in Cork. I sat on a big 100-acre organic farm, and I did their 3-month culinary course, which is kind of residential course, full-time residential course. And then after that, just came back to London, and I started working in a cafe in London, and also we set up a sort of small supper club from our house in East London as well that we were doing a couple of times a month. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how I got. And then, well, maybe I should let Joe talk about it before we talk about moving back to Ireland.
Yeah. So like Erin spent a good chunk of life in London with a proper job, you know, with a salary and a commute across London on my little bike. And so I studied engineering, and then worked in sort of construction and property. So mainly working on one big project around the back of King's Cross in London. So building stuff, employing architects and engineers and soil scientists and fountain consultants and all that jazz. And yeah, just had this sort of vague notion, which is probably a bit weird as I grew up in London, but I had this idea that when I grew up, I'd move to the country and grow my own food and have chickens and pigs. And that was just something sort of in the back of my head. And then 2016, we moved from London to Northern Ireland. So to Northern Ireland for me, back to Northern Ireland for Erin, and set up a business that we still don't really know what it is, do we?
We both call the edible flower though, which is
It's just a convenient, sort of slightly confusing thing with the book. But basically, we like food, cooking food, sharing that love with other people, and we do it in lots of kind of different ways. And I guess the book is the latest way of doing it. But we're based on a little 7-acre organic smallholding, just sort of 25 minutes south of Belfast.
yeah.
And we grow stuff, and we run supper clubs and CSA, and you know, have a delicious life.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good.
What a treat.
I know it sounds really simple in a way, and you're saying it. We know it takes a lot of work to do this kind of stuff.
Farming is not for sissies.
No.
No.
Farming is for very strong people. It's not a joke. If you want to do it
Yeah.
seriously, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and that's like, you know, we've done a lot of sort of interviews recently, and you know, you talk about it and you go, oh yeah, it is really, really brilliant. And like, you know, you convince yourself and you believe it, but then, you know, you go back to the 7 hours of compost shoveling or weeding or planting out, or the little celeriac seedlings that I let die in the polytunnel yesterday because I hadn't watered them. And
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah, and I suppose the kind of model that we've gone with is sort of trying to add value to that, because it's so difficult to make selling organic veg add up as like a, you know, on a small scale like we're doing it. So a lot of what we do, we kind of add value around it through supper clubs, which are, you know, kind of pop-up dining events that we run about once a month, and then we do multiple nights once a month, and then this community supported agriculture scheme, which is people buy in for the season and get their veg box for the whole year, but we also run kind of community events around that, so people don't just get the veg box, they also come together as the whole kind of group, and do some farming So help us out with some stuff on the farm, and then have a big meal together as well. So we do those kind of Saturdays once a month, don't we, over the season?
Yep.
Yeah.
You've picked some, especially the flower side of this, some difficult things to farm in a funny way because they're such handwork. And I know at our farm, we finally dropped flowers. We finally dropped cherry tomatoes, or the little sweet 1000s, because they're just so much handwork compared to picking a big beefsteak tomato off a plant.
Yeah.
So you've picked a hard topic inside of the farming topic.
Yeah, like it feels like we if there's an easy way, we choose the opposite.
That's totally right. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's very cool. I mean, it makes you very different, number one, and at least you can know what the hardest part of the job is, and always make it easier on yourself as you move along.
Yeah.
You gotta do the hard stuff first, and then you can appreciate and go, okay, now I can cut down and get rid of the stuff that's really not necessary.
Yeah, well, what we've ended up doing is we now run regular volunteer days, and actually once our CSA harvesting season kicks in, we'll be getting a bunch of volunteers in every week to help us harvest. So, we've discovered that if you spend half an hour picking edible flowers in the garden, it's like a glorious, joyful thing to do. But if you do it for 7 hours every day for less than minimum wage, it's pretty miserable.
Yeah.
So we try to get people to come and do it for free, for the joy of it. And so far, amazingly, that seems to be
People love
working
doing
out.
it. We feed them, and they have a good time. And
And then we
people
sell
love
them some of the veg back to them.
Right. Apparently Mr. Biden is in Belfast this morning, and maybe
Ooh,
you
yes.
could enlist him and Dr. Jill to come help you.
Absolutely. Well,
They'd be so
they're
welcome.
very welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as the
You
roll the
could
sleeves
have
up
so
and-
much free help just with American tourists coming to find their roots. I
Yes.
know my grandfather was from
Literally,
Belfast.
Literally
Yeah.
finding their roots.
Yeah.
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 Connecting with the soil.
Yeah.
It's important stuff.
It is true that in the world we live in today, there's plenty of urban dwellers who dream to put their hand in the dirt and so they're the perfect target for 8 hours of free work.
Yeah, absolutely. And like it has totally amazed me. We only started this kind of volunteering thing last season when one week I realized that I had about 400 hours of stuff to do that week. And other things to do and small children to look after, and I just knew that it was physically impossible. So it was like, right, starting a volunteer program tomorrow. And it's like people just are so brilliant and careful and want to learn and do it right. And
Yeah, it's been really rewarding.
yeah, and then they all make friends with each other, and it's it's brilliant.
Well,
really
I
good.
will caution you to not bring that model to the States, because in the States you have to pay minimum wage, even if they volunteer. Yeah,
Interesting.
exactly. Yeah. When we come back, we're going to talk about your book, The Edible Flower, talk about some of the recipes in there, and enjoy the photographs that nobody can see on the radio, but can buy the book and find for themselves. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
That's very cool.
Cute. Being here, I really like it.
I want to make sure that we talk about the testing that you did to decide what was edible, because I saw a couple surprises in the book. I'll start with tulips, but I thought I had just read if you eat a tulip, you get an upset stomach. But I think maybe that's the bulb.
Yeah,
and your recipe is for the petals, right? So
Yeah.
did you get sick eating anything?
No, we didn't. And yeah, you're right with tulip bulbs. They can actually be eaten, but they have to be processed in a certain way. We did obviously quite a lot of research into kind of edibility of things. Like some of them are like classic edibles that we've been eating for years, and then there's a few new ones, tulips being one of them in there. But yeah, quite a lot of research, and we looked at kind of a toxicology, sort of a database of things with quite a lot of information in there as well. But yeah, tulip bulbs can be eaten, but they have to be processed like loads. So,
But all tulip like petals,
like tulip petals are edible. Yeah.
as long as you don't buy them in a
Hold on.
forest and they've been sprayed with something awful.
Yeah,
Hold
the
on, you
ones
guys.
that
We
get
got to put that on
sprayed.
the radio.
Well,
Mm.
I wanted to take that off the segment just so you guys could focus on asking them about the recipes.
I know, but that's very cool stuff.
Well, our producer says no.
Okay. Never mind.
You know what happens when you cross her.
You get a cross bun. Oh.
All right, here we go.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the Hot Stove Society Show. We're talking with Aaron Bunting and Joe Facer of the who've written a new book called The Edible Flower: A Modern Guide to Growing, Cooking, and Eating Edible Flowers. And I would say they've also, I don't know who took your photographs, but they are spectacular. It's a great coffee table book on top of being a culinary book. Aaron and Joe, we talked a little bit about your background in the arts and culinary schools, and time spent getting on the farm, getting this to the table.
I'm sure they're learning every day.
Pamela, this seems right up your alley. What's your most interesting thought about this book? And you're a gardener. What will you take with you when you are looking at this book, kind of to bring into your kitchen?
Well, forage has overtaken my yard, and I never thought about the uses for it. I was growing it for the beauty. So this book is making me bolder and changing my planting plan for this year, because I want to bring, the thing about the book is colors. We always talk about eating the rainbow and trying to get as much nutritional value out of varied food. So this book is the inspiration for getting gorgeous color into your yard.
Right.
So,
and we talk about eating with your eyes, and that's another way to brighten your plate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
That's my plan.
they are not just eyes flower. There's also tasty flowers. I mean, some flowers are much tastier than others. First thing that come to mind, especially this time of year, is tulips. For example, tulip leaves have a texture and a flavor that is there's actually a flavor to it. Some flowers don't have as much. Marigolds have very strong flavor, and I mean, please enter the arena and do tell us what else has flavor.
Well,
Boring?
I would say, obviously I agree with all that, like the color and the eating with your eyes and things like that. But yeah, like we really wanted to bring through the kind of flavors of, how to use flowers for their kind of flavor as well.
Yeah, not just a pretty garnish, but and magnolias are one at the moment.
Yeah.
They're very much out and in season here in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, I don't know whether you're maybe a bit further ahead of us, but magnolia flowers have this amazing gingery, cardamom-y flavor. It's really strong. When you pickle them, they taste very like the kind of pickled ginger that you get with sushi. So I just really love that combination. And we've got some good recipes for making syrups and stuff, which can be used in cocktails. There's a whole section on that in the book. And a magnolia syrup makes a really good, delicious gingery cardamom syrup. And we just did a supper club where we used it and made magnolia flower Moscow mules. So using the magnolia flower as the kind of ginger element.
Magnolia.
Yeah,
Who knew?
Magnolia.
Well, they
that's
are
cool.
all over right now. The
I
magnolia
know,
trees
they're
are in
beautiful
full
here right
blossom. Yeah.
I'm glad I've got my clippers in the car. So
Pamela
on the
travels
way
with
home-
clippers down the alleys of Seattle.
That's how she eats her salad for
Everywhere.
lunch. That's how you make your salad for
She's
lunch.
a lilac thief.
Yeah, lilac can be out.
So
Yeah,
I was intrigued by the rolls that you made, the Vietnamese rolls that you made. What
Yes.
flowers did you use in that?
Really any kind of little flower that will kind of reasonably sit flat. But I really love violas in them, so that's like little pansies. I think, what do you call them?
Johnny
Jump ups.
Yeah, Johnny jump ups. Yeah.
I had them
Yeah,
on my
so,
asparagus at Easter.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, beautiful. Yeah, gorgeous. And they're so pretty, and because you've got quite a lot of them have those kind of deep purple colors, they come through really well through the rice paper wrapper. But you can also I've also put like nasturtium petals in there before, calendula petals, little daisies, all sorts of little
Yeah.
flowers can go in there really well, and they just make it look so beautiful. And add a bit of like flavor and
Right.
fragrance.
Beautiful.
Some of my favorite parts of the book are things I didn't expect. For example, you show how to lift and divide herbs so that when you are annually kind of harvesting and then ready for the next year to show up on your patio or in your backyard, you know how to expand your portfolio, or tell Pamela to only put borage in pots and not directly into the ground.
Good call.
It's a weed, so be careful.
What about
Yeah,
that?
it does spread, but it's so like I don't know, like harvest those little leaves when they come up. If you don't want them somewhere and you're like you see those little leaves coming up, let them go a little bit, harvest them, and then the leaves themselves are. I mean, we have a recipe in the book for a kind of Tuscan bean stew, like a ribollita type thing, and they have this kind of delicious like cucumbery flavor. And they add a thickening. The oranges have a kind of thickening, and so they're really great in cooking. So if you do see little self seeds that you don't want, take them out.
Nice.
Well, I feel like our borage flowers don't self-seed very much because we have chickens who like love eating the seeds.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So they'll
Oh,
literally
yeah.
jump up and eat seeds out of the pod before they drop. So so the alternative is just get yourself some chickens. And
You know what? I have a lot of birds in my backyard, and they come and eat my bronze fennels. The bronze fennel at the end of the summer, I cut it off.
Whoa.
I put it in a big cardboard under my porch to dry out. And now all the
Yeah.
birdies are coming. It's winter. During the winter, at the end of winter, they were coming in the box. I would see them in the box picking up the seeds from that dry fennel. Which is
Yeah.
also a good idea, but that fennel is so delicious. Those little
Yeah,
fennel
you want to
seeds.
keep that for yourself.
Oh yeah, I want to eat the bird. So they're nicely seasoned
Like
already.
Mitterrand. Didn't he get slapped for eating little birds?
Yeah, my wife goes, we look through the window, my wife goes, oh, aren't they cute? They're eating the seeds. I go, man, they must be so tasty.
One of my favorite underutilized herb or green flower, and that we used to use it all the time 30 years ago, was the arugula blossom.
Oh yeah.
And so often
So delicious.
it's really nutty and good, and so often they're cut off because it's kind of a signal that your plant is bolting, and people tend to either cut it off or just pull the plant, or it stops producing green arugula leaves at that point. So it's a flower I just don't see around much anymore. Do you have that in your book somewhere?
Yes, we talk about we do talk about
the section on mustard leaf.
the section on mustard. So rocket would fit into that,
Yeah.
both sweet and wild rocket would fit into that kind of mustard leaves section. Yeah. So yeah, because we grow all these leaves anyway for our for our business, like that we let them and we pick them for salad leaves, and then when they go to seed, we would like let them go to seed and have all the flowers. So yeah, we use them a lot actually, and this is a good time of year for them because all the ones that we've had in the polytunnel for our kind of winter salad have just gone to seed, and we used them at our most recent event. We actually made the Ukrainian picnic canapes, which are like little cucumber slices with a sort of like herby, flowery cream cheese. Pick loads of the petals off the little mustard flowers, and then make some pickled radish, and basically like super simple little canapé. You'd basically just slice of cucumber, a little bit of seasoning, cream cheese, loads of herbs, some of the little edible flower petals in there as well, pickled radish, and then garnish it with one of the little mustard flowers, and really nice.
Right
Yeah.
on the cover of your book.
Mustard greens are delicious for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we
So
only have a
good.
minute left. Is there anything else you want to tell our listeners to look for in the book?
Oh my goodness, that's like a. I think. Well, I mean, I don't know. I was going to say, what do you think?
Well, I was just going to say everyone should grow their own edible
Yeah,
flowers.
that's what I was going to say.
Big garden, little garden, window box, patio, balcony.
It's so accessible for people. Even if you're a city dweller and you only have like a tiny space or something like that,
Yeah.
a window.
Pot marigold in a pot, and you could be eating sprinkles of beautiful orange apples all summer. So yeah, that would be my takeaway. What about you, Erin?
Yeah, and I think also just thinking about using the edible flowers not just as a garnish but as for the flavor, and like lavender. If you have a spot and you can grow some English lavender and pick that, you can use it in the season, and then you can also just cut whatever you don't use, hang up a big bunch of it in your kitchen, let it dry. I put a brown paper bag over it, and then you can be using that lavender like all year round, and it's so good in sweet and savory dishes. I would say, we love it with roast lamb. It basically has kind of a similar flavor profile to rosemary, so lots of places where you might use rosemary, you could
So
use
fun.
lavender instead.
So fun. The book is called The Edible Flower. Our guests have been through Zoom from Ireland, Erin Bunting and Joe Facer. It's a modern guide to using edible flowers in your cooking. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, and all the best of luck.
You guys rock.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having us.
you. It's a delight. We appreciate you.
Yeah, and all the best of luck.
Up next, the Milpa
Thank you so
Masa
much.
owners.
Thank you so much. Like, I'm so now going to look up your YouTube channel, and feels like it's a great podcast. So
Thank you.
All
Come
right.
to Seattle.
thanks so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Up next, Milpa Masa owners Pearl Ruiz and Roman Javier are going to join us. Did I get that anywhere close? Okay.
Roman Javier.
Okay, Sean, I'm going to do that again. Up next, Milpa Masa owners Perla Ruiz and Roman Javier are here to join us about tortillas. I love a homemade tortilla.
Una palabra de México.
Yeah. On Cover Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Oh my God, they were adorable.
Did you understand the word they said? No.
Hey, those lentils are good.
Okay, we have our own tortilla today. Did you try the Spanish tortilla?
Over here. Have one of you use my
Sausages are so delicious. And those lentils, by the way, they're really good.
So we pass the lentils around.
What do you think of the lentils?
Would you eat it for breakfast? Would you eat it for breakfast?
Yeah.
Come on over here. I think we just want that mic to be about
Those girls
2
are so
inches
cute.
from your mouth.
Man, I wish them the best of luck.
That's a hard row right there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm guessing you're Perla.
Yes.
Roman y Perla.
Sí, correcto.
Bienvenido.
Gracias. Thank you for having us.
Es Tom Douglas.
Yes. Mucho gusto. Recommended them and the high quality of the product. And they were endorsed.
Oh, you did?
We brought some samples
Let's see 'em.
of.
Before we get started here.
We have some blue corn tortilla chips.
Mhm.
We have some fresher tortillas and the cornbread that we make with our own masa. So it's gluten free. Wow.
You've been busy already this morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's when I go to bed.
Yes, we are.
And you're nixtamalizing yourself?
Yes. In West Seattle.
That's a hard process.
It's a hard.
It's not easy on your.
No, it isn't.
I love corn tortilla, man. Good corn tortilla is so
tortilla.
good.
It's a very long process.
Yeah,
So,
that's so rewarding.
exactly.
Can we buy those 12 pack somewhere? Okay. Oh, nice.
Oh my God. There's a lot of cornbread.
Get the texture.
Of course, with everybody.
Yep.
How do you suggest reheating these? Just to steam, or can you pan fry?
Just put, yeah, if you can put a little bit of water, just to wake it up. Yep.
Do you need a hot pan or do you need a medium heat?
A medium heat pan or just hot pan, and just be ready.
See what I like? I like to saute some mushroom, keep the fat in the pan, and put my tortilla in there.
Oh,
Oh,
It's
yes.
very greasy when you eat it, but it's so delicious because you get that brown butter. Oh man, brown butter and corn tortilla.
We
just
tell
the spot.
people, because we do have suggested reheating instructions in the back of each package. And we do tell people, like, if you are going to lightly season your skillet,
Uh-huh.
try to use some rendered fat of some kind. It just gives the tortilla something
Oh, yeah.
more. If it's like, if you made carnitas, everybody loves making some type of carnitas dish.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, but how generous. You're welcome. That's for you and Tom. I love that color.
Oh my God. Tom,
I made 5 failed batches of bread for Palace Kitchen yesterday. 5.
what went wrong?
What?
I tried to be too fancy. Always.
A yeast bread or a?
See, this is where I like it. I was doing all sorts of things, but apparently I'm a sucky baker.
Well, you perfected sucking. Add it. That's good. 5 times.
You could do a tortilla and a tortilla. The Spanish with the Mexican.
Uh-huh.
We do that.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We have a friend who makes the most amazing Spanish tortilla. And we always keep a bit for in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And we make tortilla times
Tortilla,
2.
tortilla.
Yeah, tacos. Mhm.
This is really good.
Thank you.
The baker and the tortilla maker.
I'm gonna have to drive to West Seattle now.
Yes.
I'm gonna get delivery.
Ready, Sean? Okay.
All right.
Here we go. It's the Seattle Kitchen Show on Cairo Radio.
I'm Thierry Roturo, the chef in the hat.
And I'm Tom Douglas. We have a few places around town. You have Lulu at the airport. I've got Serious Pie across the street here at 4th and Virginia. The soon-to-be-open Palace Kitchen. Lola Carlisle Room up by the Paramount Theaters. If you're ever going for a show, stop in and say hi at the Carlisle Room. And a few more, but we'll stop there for now. We have Milpa Masa owners Perla Ruiz and Roman Javier. Easy lifts for fast dinners. And let's do that again, Sean Vittore. We're welcoming into our kitchen Milpa Masa owners Perla Ruiz and Roman Javier. You guys have been up since 4 o'clock this morning making delicious cornmeal products. How are you? Are you alive?
We are alive.
Yes. Very awake.
It's nice to have the bridge open from West Seattle again, huh?
Oh, it's
Oh,
amazing.
my gosh. It is a lifesaver because we actually live in North Seattle in the
Oh.
Wedgwood neighborhood. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it was crazy. It was crazy during the bridge
2
closure.
years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it took us a long while to find a space.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually when we did, it was West Seattle, and it was just a couple of months before the pandemic, and then the bridge
You got a
closure.
double whammy on
Oh,
you.
my
my
gosh,
God,
yeah.
yeah.
Everywhere.
Well, I'm glad you're still alive and kicking. Tell us what you brought us here today.
So we brought, of course, some yellow and blue tortillas, as well as a blue cornbread and some chips.
Did you make them?
We made them, yes. They're all made locally. So we use the masa that we make for our tortillas into cornbread, and some of our next day old tortillas into chips.
I see.
Yep.
So this is not an easy process, this making masa, right? You're making your own.
Correct.
And so you're nixtamalizing it, and
Yes.
then what? How do you go about this? So you've got the big corn, right?
Yes.
The big corn kernels.
Yeah, so it's basically, if nobody know, or just to summarize it, so nixtamalization is basically a process of cooking dried corn kernels in a solution of water and lime or
Lime,
limestone,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
or ash.
Yeah.
Letting it rest for a day, and then the next day you grind the corn into dough to make our masa for
Mhm.
if you want to make tamales or whatever other type of corn products you want, or tortillas.
Mhm.
Simple as that.
And so you obviously have a machine that you're using for shaping on your corn tortillas.
Oh,
Because
yes.
they're perfect.
Yes. So
Well, thank you.
that was one of the hard parts. We had to find the right tortilla oven, and then we also had to find the right molino, or the mill that
Mhm.
grinds the corn. And we wet grind the corn as opposed to dry milling.
Oh,
Where
wow.
like for wheat, you dry mill, it's all dried, but our corn is wet, and we
Yeah.
actually have to wet the mill itself of the stones, because
That's
it rotates at a very high RPM, and we also run water while we're grinding the corn to cool the stones down.
Mm.
So when the corn comes out in a dough form, it's slightly warm because of the friction.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I know this seems odd, a big fat white guy like me, but I actually own a volcanic stone masa grinder
Mhm.
that I bought in LA for when we opened Cantina Leña
Oh,
some
yeah.
10 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
Yes.
we would do the same from our own corn that we would buy from Hacienda, the heirloom corn,
Correct.
and kind of go through the same process.
Well, it's not surprising from a white guy like you, and coming from a Filipino guy like me.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only tortillero in the U.S., as far as I know,
As far as
that's
you know.
doing this on
Isn't that
a
funny?
commercial scale basis.
Yeah, it's funny how we all kind of gravitate towards what hits our heart, you know.
Yeah, it is an
exactly.
art. I found that out.
Yeah, exactly. And so you must bring some more context to the equation.
Well, I try to.
Mhm.
I grew up on the Mexican border in Tijuana, across the border from San Diego. So culturally, we were not as connected to the process of nixtamal as a lot of people in the rest of Mexico. But having been living here for so many years, the whole idea of not having a good tortilla, it just kills you. It's just, if you can't have some good cheese, some good bread.
Mhm.
some good bread. Yeah, it's the same idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just trying to find them. So it was all about bringing tortillas from Tijuana or from wherever in Mexico that we were traveling to. And it got to a point like, okay, we can't do this anymore, because it wasn't just bringing for myself. It was bringing for a lot of friends
Mhm.
and bringing not just that. I kind of became like a dealer in tortillas with all these friends. So yeah, there's a lot that we learned in the process of starting this business, getting into the tortilla making. Sorry, I have allergies, so
No
I have
problem.
a little bit of an issue.
Everyone's allergic to Terry.
That's a normal thing.
Ooh.
It's new.
But yeah, so the learning curve and how to make the tortillas between the two of us. My mother grew up in a different part of Mexico, and when she was younger, her job at 4 o'clock in the morning before going to school was taking the nixtamal to the local mill to get the corn milled, so that then she would take back home so that her grandmother could make the tortillas.
Mhm.
So suffice it to say, my mother refused to make any tortillas that way ever again
Mhm.
because it was just, she
Yeah.
was so young. She was
Right.
like 9, 10 years old, having to walk to the mill with her bucket of nixtamal
Mhm.
to the mill. But that is like a tradition.
Right.
So we definitely grew up differently. So the tortilla making process, we learned
Yeah.
between us.
It was just basically a need for it, where we'd go see our family in Tijuana or Guadalajara, and then we'd come back, and then like flying back, like on the San Diego airport, we'd bring like 10 pounds or 20 pounds of tortillas, and the TSA would look at us and we just smile like they don't have that in Seattle, and they're like, we understand, and then we'd go. So after doing that for a few years, we started looking around and like, can we do it here?
Yeah,
Or
if you
can we
start
find a
carry-
place here?
if you start bringing 20 pounds in your luggage of anything, you should definitely start thinking about making it. That's gonna get heavy.
Oh, totally. And eventually it turned into road trips. We would go down to Tijuana. We would drive. I mean, because it's I-5. It's a
the
straight
truck?
shot. with our little Subaru. And yeah, we eventually came back with a stone mill that we installed in our basement, and that's where we started practicing. Yeah.
Interesting. We're talking with the folks from Milpa, MILPA, Milpa Masa, over in West Seattle, and we're going to talk a little bit more about where people can find these in the local grocery chains, and also what do you do with them once you do have these in your fingertips. On Cabaret Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Is there anything you want to say about sourcing the corn? Is that hard?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Super hard,
very hard.
especially locally. Locally.
That's one of our main things now is focusing on finding local corn, or having local farmers grow corn for us,
Kind that you need.
the kind that we need.
We remember to ask them
Yep.
that.
Yeah, definitely an issue, because right now the majority of the corn that we source is from the Midwest. So it's organic, non-GMO corn.
Yep. Hold that thought.
You can tell him that when we come back.
God.
And we're back in the kitchen here at the Hot Stove Society Show. Perla Ruiz and Roman Javier are here. They have the cool corn tortilla company called Milpa Masa, small batch stone ground, right here in West Seattle.
And then
Chef, you were curious about where they actually got the corn from before they
Right.
went through the
'Cause
nixtamalization
we
process.
live in Seattle, Washington, and I know there's not corn growing here all year round. So, and I know that sourcing corn is definitely an issue in some part of the country. So, how do you do it? What do you do?
Well, there is Washington State is a big corn producer, but they
Yes.
don't do the type of corn we want. They do sweet corn, and so we're trying to change that little by little by working with farmers. Hopefully, they'll grow it for us.
So I should have asked the question: what kind of corn do you want to go?
Exactly.
You need.
There's many type of varieties. There's like dent flour and
Lint.
Flint corn. So we tend to go more for a medium-sized, what they call dent corn that has more of starch content.
Uh-huh.
And another thing also that we're focused on is showcasing or introducing American heirloom landrace varieties, as opposed to the Mexican varieties,
Right.
which we love working that usually on our Saturday and Sunday, just trying different varieties. But, showing another variety or an heirloom variety that originated from the U.S., Minnesota number 13, Wapsie Valley,
Right.
Oh, Bloody Butcher. I love that name. It just
Bloody
sounds like
Butcher is the
Yes.
name of a corn.
it's
Yes.
a name of a corn. It just sounds like you're cursing, but you're
Yes.
not.
Bloody Butcher.
Bloody Butcher.
Yeah, we
And
start
it's
with
a
that.
beautiful corn.
Yep.
Uh,
It got its name because in the milking stage, when it's still nice and young, it's all white, and then little speckles of red starts to come out. And then for some reason, how it started is people would like say, "Oh, it kind of reminds us of a butcher's
Mhm,
apron,"
mhm.
Right.
And so that's how it started. Makes excellent cornbread and a more dense and strong structure of a tortilla, and we have that sometimes.
yeah.
When we started Cantina Línea, we were getting heirloom corn out of Mexico through Hacienda because part of the idea was in Mexico, corn meal is government supported, right? And you have to sell your tortillas for this exact
yeah.
same price across the country. And there's a tortilla shop on every corner, just about, and cool little machines and open garage doors. And but we were trying to. The idea was to kind of save some of these old heirloom varieties, and you're actually going a little bit different path, which is identifying the varieties that are out there now instead of heirloom varieties that are good for the process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, we also do work with different Mexican heirloom varieties. We work with Macienda, with Tamoa, another company located in Mexico City. And they work with different small farmers. That's the key. The small farmers, which are the guardians of these seeds that go back generations and generations. And so many have been lost. So definitely we do use their corn. A lot of our customers do specifically request Mexican heirloom varieties just because of the different flavors and textures.
Right.
Even though it's just corn, every corn variety has its own little thing going for it with regards to aroma, texture, the when we
Density.
cook.
The density, probably.
The density, yes,
Yeah.
the starch levels, even when we cook it, the pericarp, because in our tortillas, we don't necessarily, there's no gluten, right? So there's really no binder. So we had to find this binding situation in our tortillas in working with all these different corn varieties, especially from the US. Mexican ones, they're so easy to work with for the most part, but all these
Sometimes
different
easy to work
varieties. Well, I know we have
Isn't
had.
the starch the binder?
So it's a combination.
Uh-huh.
but it's usually it's usually what they call the pericarp or the hull
Uh-huh.
that once during the process of nixtamalization, it breaks it down, but it also makes the outer hull of the corn, it gelatinizes it,
Uh-huh.
and behind that or underneath that,
The starch.
the starch or the body of it becomes more of like a pectin type thing. So
Right.
that acts as the binder for the
Interesting.
tortillas.
Yeah.
You don't want it to overcook, and you want that starch in the middle kind of dry, because then that's what adds the body to it.
Okay, so before we get too far, I want to know where can people buy your corn tortillas?
So currently, we have our little store that we open for retail Saturdays and Sundays in West Seattle from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. during winter hours. There's a few.
I didn't know tortilla hours were like banker's hours.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's
mean-
actually even better than banker hours. 2 days a week, 4 hours.
Well, but
It's fantastic. No, go ahead.
No, it's good.
no, yeah,
It's good.
but we're at the shop by 4 a.m. so that
Right.
we're up.
And you're
at
sold out
like
by
at
2, so-
2:30.
Yeah.
So 4 a.m. to start the whole process, because we cook the day before
Mhm.
the nixtamal, and then that following morning, say on Saturday and on Sunday, we have to go in and do everything,
Mhm.
prepare all the
No, of course.
tortillas and package them. So yes, our little retail shop. And we sell the tortillas, the fresh masa. A lot of people are into making their own tortillas and tamales and gorditas, and there's so many applications to use our masa. The cornbread,
Cornbread, yeah.
the tortilla chips. The cornbread was a crazy thing. That's the
Well,
cornbread
the-
maker here.
I
The
lived in the
flavor
South for a
really
while.
comes out in the cornbread. Yeah.
Yeah. I lived in the South for a while, and that's when I started really getting into cornbread.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
It's a very different cornbread. It's really delicious.
thank you.
I like it's not so sweet. It definitely tastes like something naturally done
Thank
to
you.
it, as opposed to something out of a box. It's good.
Is it yeasted or not?
No,
No.
no, it's 100% gluten free. It's just dairy and eggs
Buttermilk.
and buttermilk.
Oh yeah, the good
And
stuff.
so are you in any grocery stores that people can find you?
So right now we do very small wholesale Leshai Market
Mhm.
in Leshai, of course. Delridge there's the Delridge Co-op. There is I'm totally blanking. Fremont, El Lugar, Renee Erickson at the Whirlwind. She carries our tortillas in their food larder.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's a few of them. The majority of the work that we do is definitely more for food service. So we do distribute to a lot of smaller restaurants in the city.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So during the week, it's our wholesale, and then Saturday and Sundays when we play around with other varieties. And
And do the
Yeah.
retail.
Retail.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
Yeah, you get time to play around on the weekend. That's nice.
Oh,
just
yeah.
kidding.
To try.
4 o'clock in the morning. That's
What-
not playing anymore. That's
No,
working.
That's cooking.
We only have a minute. What's your favorite thing to make with these tortillas? Let's just say your basic corn tortilla.
Oh my
What's
gosh,
your
to
favorite
me,
thing? Yes.
the favorite thing to me with the tortillas, I mean, I'm any type of quesadilla, any cheese with my blue corn tortilla.
Uh-huh.
That's my thing.
As in like a quesadilla, melted cheese?
Yes,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
melted cheese. But to eat them in another way, I would say it's chilaquiles
Mm.
or migas, which is the mixture of fried tortillas with eggs and vegetables and maybe some chorizo,
Chorizo,
something
yeah,
like
that was
that.
what-
Yes.
I was waiting for the chorizo. to
Oh,
come
yes.
out. Yeah.
Yes.
Cilantro and
Oh yeah, that is my favorite. And you are different. I think you enjoy more cooking with it, with the masa, for example, because of the cornbread.
I discovered I like recipe development.
Uh-huh.
you're a mad scientist, is what you're saying.
Yes.
I like that.
We've been chatting with Perla Ruiz and Roman Javier. They have the Milpa Masa Company, MILPA Masa, MASA Company, over in West Seattle. Exact address?
3416 Southwest Webster Street.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to come see you because I want some, whatever that's in that cornbread, I want some of that.
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday,
Exactly.
10 to 2 p.m.
There you go.
Mhm.
All right, life is busy. Sometimes you just need to fill it fast with a satisfying supper. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show,
Muchas gracias.
97.3 FM.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very nice. Muchas gracias.
Completely charming.
Oh.
Thank you for
What days do you
making it
deliver
fit.
downtown? I'm assuming you use fresh masa for that. Yeah. Wednesdays and Fridays. Okay.
Have you made a sales call on Eamon yet to get him to buy the masa for hot stove?
They don't even let me buy it anymore.
Ah,
Oh, well, we can get an account started for here, though.
yeah.
And I was going to offer to act as courier if you weren't able to make it out to West.
Yeah, that would be
Use
so
many
cool.
masa
I'd be happy to
classes
bring
here.
in 2 pounds of masa anytime you want.
All right.
And use the chips to make.
I want to
some
make this cornbread for
chilaquiles.
our bread service at Palace. Yeah. I think that would be delicious.
Yeah, that would be so awesome.
Thank
I
you
love
so
that we
much.
have Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
All the best.
From West Seattle.
Very tasty. Super good. I like it with avocado, leftover roasted chicken, a little salsa, some cilantro everywhere. Perfect. Perfect. I mean, nobody would serve that anywhere. I mean, that's yeah. A good little butter. Yeah. I mean, you'd be killing it. Plus, it's really cool. It's presenting really nicely, and take both.
I don't need both. I should take both.
Yeah,
It'll get eaten, then I won't have it.
that's right. And I would put one in the freezer, see how it does. So when you put it, I'm sure.
It's a quick bread.
Yeah, of course. having surprise. I can't reveal. Ciao. Hasta luego. Muchas gracias. Ooh la la.
What was your favorite part of breakfast?
That's funny. Swiss chard, Pam.
Swiss chard. I'll have some after.
Swiss
the
chard
show.
wins again.
Me too. This hippie doesn't like chard. I thought that's all hippies ate was chard. Were any of you hippies when you were growing up, or are still so? No. Too far back. Oh my.
A one pot chicken.
Right, ready?
Ready spaghetti.
Okay, you're gonna run this one, Missy, because life's not too busy for me to make dinner.
That's funny.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Born ready.
Pamela Hinckley, born ready, right here on the Hot Stove Society Show. Our producer is salivating over quick, simple suppers because you find yourself cooking much more than I bet you used to. You don't seem like you go out to dinner as much as you used to now that you're retired. Are you saving your pennies or what's going on?
All of the above. I like to cook, but I like to have time.
Uh-huh.
And I was writing this segment for those who don't have the luxury of time and to think like, what are the components that you need to be able to make a satisfying supper quickly and still have a nice variety of flavor, color, texture. You know, last year it was all about throw everything on a sheet pan and put it in the oven. But I think that gets you kind of a homogeneous texture. So I want to come up with ideas that you still get some crunch and maybe some sauciness. And the first recipe I saw that I thought was kind of brilliant was using a store-bought rotisserie chicken to do a cast iron version of a pot pie with a puff pastry crust. Because you can make a, you know, if you've got just hopefully some stock in the freezer, but you know, a stock from the supermarket, you can make a quick little sauce, shred your chicken, get the puff pastry on it into the oven. Yum.
Pot pie is deceptively hard to make, though.
If
Don't
you
you-
remember how we
good one.
struggled with it at Seatown, oh my God.
Consistency is a struggle.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as that, mainly because there is wetness and there is dough.
Yeah.
And that's where people get confused with that because you end up with raw dough and
there's lots of prep time, unless you're using just all frozen vegetables and rotisserie
Right, I
chicken
mean,
and
Frozen
canned
vegetables are a
stock
good
and-
idea.
Yeah.
But we're going to have a nutritionist on in a couple of weeks, and she's a big proponent of being able to have some frozen vegetables because they're harvested at their peak,
Right.
And their nutritional values are preserved. So
so in lieu of
I-
that, one thing I've discovered this year is the halibut season just started recently. And I got a big halibut and made some bigger chunk of halibut, you know, like a
roast.
like a 10 ounce, 12 ounce piece of halibut, which is a big, nice chunk of halibut. And you can roast it or you can poach it ahead of time and use that for a couple of meals. So the reasoning behind that is first you have a poached chicken, a poached halibut, pardon me, with let's say mushroom, bok choy, you know, something like that, and you put together as a broth, and then you put the halibut in it and you cook it. But the big piece left over, you can use in a salad the next day, like with some green beans and
brilliant.
like in a Niçoise idea, except instead of using canned tuna, you're using some poached halibut than you have from the day before. Either poached or roasted. Leftovers are always delicious that way. So the point that I'm trying to say is you cook on Sunday and you have fish on Tuesday
Yeah,
without having to cook it.
that is so.
And it's also
smart.
a great quick salad to make because your green beans are already blanched in your refrigerator. The only thing you have to do is toss your lettuce. You have your dressing already made in your fridge. You make all that stuff on Sunday for the rest of the week. So tossing it together, you get a couple olives, you get some boiled potato maybe. So you can toss the whole thing together with a little bit of lemon olive oil dressing. Put that over your lettuce and your fish, and you get a wonderful fish salad for Tuesday.
I also think that something like a big chunk of halibut like that holds up better in your fridge cooked than it does raw.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you keep it raw, you're going to start having those smells and nobody really care about for fish. Where if you take it beautiful and fresh and you cook it right away, that piece will stay much better. Yes, absolutely.
Another quick one right now. Crab is super cheap
Oh, yeah.
right now.
we've been
Although
eating a lot of
the
crab.
picked crab is not as cheap as you would wish it was going to be.
Came down a little though.
It's still $40 some a pound.
Yeah.
But it's all done. All the work is done, and so it's a fast, easy thing to kind of do with a little linguine with crab butter, or make yourself a crab cake. Pretty simple, depending on how many ingredients you put in it. But yeah, now's the time, because if you use whole crab, it still takes a long time because now you got to pick it at the dinner table.
Yeah, but that's something you
But
could do
crab-
on Sunday with a couple of friends or some kids, or you
Pick
you
the
could,
crab and then use it the next day. you
yeah,
mean?
and then
It's
put it
got
in
to
the,
be used fast.
or you can put it in the it freeze once it's once it's cooked.
Don't do that to
Or you
me.
could.
Don't you freeze my
Or what do you
crab.
mean? Don't you freeze my crab? Well, if you can eat the whole
Well, I'm
thing,
not
at once.
worth picking a fresh crab for. Then don't have me over. That's what I got to say.
But
They-
once you take the what do you call that? The crab pot out of the water, and there's
Uh-huh.
6 crab. You're not gonna eat 6 crab in a row just because they're fresh. So you're gonna cook them all, and you're gonna crack them all, take the meat out,
Yeah,
And
and
then-
invite some friends over.
and then listen to me. Pack the crab with just a little bit of the juice of the
Uh-huh.
crab, so that it doesn't hurt the crab meat. And then when you thaw it out, you can just put it in a quick broth and have a wonderful crab soup.
The only thing I would say about frozen crab is you have to let it thaw naturally. You can't run it
Correct.
underwater because it
Yeah.
just gets
Yeah.
all stringy.
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
gross
yeah.
and- but if you let it thaw naturally, it's a better product. Pamela, let's go back to your chicken pot pie for a second, because the other easy topping for that is if you don't have the puff pastry. And I'm not a huge fan of puff pastry on wet things, like a pot pie gravy, or Paul Bocuse used to do his onion
The soup,
soup,
yeah.
right? With the pot pie over the
It's a truffle
oh, I
soup.
want that.
truffle
Truffle
soup. So,
Valérie Giscard
but I don't
d'Estaing.
love the way puff pastry reacts to moisture.
Right.
I prefer like having a pot pie with drop biscuits on the top, or something simple like
Croutons.
that. They're easy to make.
Yeah.
Croutons is a good idea.
Croutons is good because it can hold the cheese, and if
Yeah.
you put some grated cheese on top, like in the
On
onion
top of your
soup,
pot pie.
well, you can do anything you want, right? This is America. I mean, come on, man. Get with the program, in case you
Yeah.
don't know.
Uh,
Pot pie with cheese, it's good.
Thai beef salad is one of my favorites.
Oh.
Again, it's a prep thing though, because there's lots
Lot
of
of
little things to prep, especially the bittersweet shallots and all the different little parts of a Thai beef salad. To me,
So
is a really fun, and it's a way to use inexpensive cuts of meat like hanger steak or skirt steak or flat iron or things like that.
there are a few things you don't prep ahead, like sauteed spinach and stuff like that. That takes 2 minutes to cook in the pan, not even, to be ready. So you keep that for the day of. But your roasting vegetable, there's plenty of things you can do ahead in bulk. So you can use that sparingly through your week of, through your next 3-4 days of work, and making it easy on yourself. If all you have to do is saute the spinach and toss the salad with dressing, it's a lot easier to make dinner than if you don't, if you have to start from scratch. So that would be my take in that is prep your, blanch your asparagus, or do all the stuff you want to do ahead of time. Try to do it on Sunday, and then, put it in container in your refrigerator, and then, warm it up and toss it together at the last minute. It's possible, and it works.
We had our friends on the last segment from our new friends, I should say, from Milpa Masa, and we have our new fish taco rub that's in our line, which is really citrusy. It's got some mild, bright ground chilies in it, not spicy at all, but the citrus is really what comes out to me. So quick fish tacos.
Fish tacos.
You
is
love a
great.
fish taco.
I love
But
fish
what
tacos.
is, to me, they get bogged down sometimes when you get them out in a restaurant. They're full of too much slaw, or they're too much
Yeah.
this or that.
Radishes.
What do you think
chives.
is a perfect fish taco?
Radishes.
radishes,
I can-
chives, pickled carrots. I mean, you use all these different ingredients
Yeah.
in fish taco.
I like a fresh fried
Wow.
tortilla, but not crispy fried. I like it soft fried.
soft fried.
And then a big dollop of guac and my piece of grilled fish
Mm.
and maybe a radish or something. But
Yeah.
typically, what I've seen people do is in Mexican restaurants, the radish is a side thing. It's not something you build into your taco.
Right. I like to build. I like to have
We just like to build.
I
things.
just can't just have meat and taco. That never works for me.
You never
I-
just hold the taco in your left hand, your fork in your right, and then just eat and eat.
No,
No.
doesn't work like that.
Okay.
Not for me. I love a
I mean, it
good
literally is a bread.
I know, but I love a good corn tortilla with like my favorite is like leftover roasted chicken, shredded, nice little pieces, and then toss that with just a little bit of lime dressing because I love lime, cilantro, diced avocado. I mean, it takes literally green onions, and it takes literally 10 minutes to prep that. And you get the most wonderful taco. You warm up I take the cast iron pan and warm up the my nice tortillas and corn tortillas, and it's so simple and so delicious. I mean, I use a salsa to put into the taco too, so I have moisture. Mm.
I bought the at Costco. I like to kind of buy the prepared foods to kind of see why didn't I think of that moment. They have a carnitas at Costco that is pretty darn good, and it's got enough fat where when you put it in your saute pan that it crispens up like carnitas
nice.
should do, and it is a perfect thing for these fresh corn tortillas along with that fish taco.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. What are you going to make of all those things? What are you going to make tonight, Pam?
I'm gonna do some ground pork with soba noodles and the first of this asparagus that's coming out.
So nothing.
So nothing we talked
no,
about.
no.
I love that. That was a good end of a segment. I'm glad we went through that route. I mean, we spent 10 minutes talking about how you should make a good tortilla, and she goes, "I'm gonna make noodles."
Okay. she's going Japanese. Soba and ground pork.
Good for you. That sounds
I
good.
make a little togarashi rub over there. You should try some of that.
I'm going to.
Up next, it's our Rub with Love Tasty Trivia, brought to you by Rub with Love Spices. Looking forward to taking down somebody today. I don't know, but
Chef
I've been
Annie's
getting
coming
crushed, so
over?
I need the rebound. Chef Annie's coming over.
I don't know. I'm just asking.
We're going to find out. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Does anybody want to compete for trivia?
You win
I like
three jars.
I like that over there.
You
For
win
dinner?
3 jars of spice rub from our gift shop. You want to do it? Come on, you do. You're hesitant. Come on, Miss Polka Dot over there.
Bring your friend. You can be a team. Now, are you celebrating something? Today.
What is it? Happy birthday!
Yay!
Happy birthday to you. Joyeux anniversaire.
What's your name? Hello, Lisa.
Okay, Lisa.
Lisa, we are thrilled.
39th birthday. Wow.
And I've been here a few times before and I'm getting to be a groupie, I guess, coming to your lamb.
Oh, are you?
Oh my God, that menu looks phenomenal.
I love lamb.
I was going to promote it, but it's sold out.
Oh, did it?
I heard the
Oversold.
I was
class.
in the Ballard Market yesterday, and they way overordered lamb for Easter. There are mountains of lamb legs all over the Ballard Market. They have it in every possible place to try and move it. So, luckily for them, it's cryovac. They have 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. I have never seen that.
Yeah, you have.
Bone-in cryovac?
Sure. It's
Yeah.
all done that way.
Not at my
Only,
butcher's.
well, not at your butcher. No, nobody else can afford your butcher.
Your butcher and my butcher.
That's why you have to eat in. You can't go to restaurants because you spend all your money with that handsome Kevin.
All right.
You should see her and my wife go into the butcher shop. Hi, Kevin. It is so embarrassing. Hi, Kevin.
It's like they're
What
blushing and
what-
they're
what should we make for dinner tonight, Kevin? And her face gets just like that.
Heating up.
Which market are we at?
And you should see the beast and the cleaver.
Oh yeah.
And when he's holding a saw, oh my God, she's helpless. Saw or the cleaver.
Helpless, helpless.
All right.
I've just brought a tear to my eye.
You're cracking yourself
I'm
up.
cracking myself
Are you
up.
comfy there? You want to sit,
You
stand?
can sit, you
You're
can
good?
stand, you can do whatever.
I feel like I've been sitting.
Okay, we'll stand. Welcome back. It's the Hot Stove Society Show on Cairo Radio. It's time for our Rub with Love Tasty Trivia Challenge. Rub with Love is our line of flavorful and intentionally dry, lovely spice rubs of fabulous mustard and 4 deeply satisfying sauces. When you have them in your pantry, you have the tools to expertly season every meal well. You can find Rub with Love locally and find retailers like the Fresh Fish Company, which we were just talking about being next to the Beast and Cleaver up there in Ballard. Mulbach's in Woodinville, Double D Meats in the Mountain Lake Terrace area, Ken's Market on Greenwood, or Yolks Fresh Markets with 19 locations in Eastern Washington. I shop at Yolks sometimes when I go over to the farm.
Nice.
Of course, we have all the usual places for it too. So, Pam, how do we play the game, and who's playing? I know I see Lisa in front of a microphone. And what do they win?
Lisa's going to be able to pick 3 rubs.
From our gift shop, yeah.
From it's going to be spectacular. And it's her birthday.
Happy birthday!
Tell
All
her,
right.
say it to her in French.
Joyeux anniversaire.
Oh, very nice.
So nice. So each of the 3 contestants is going to get 5 questions. They're charming and kind of easy today.
We
All
always
right.
we always hear that.
Chef
Go ahead.
Kerry,
Go ahead.
the Ivory Coast and Ghana produce over 50% of the world's supply of what bean that is the basis of chocolate?
Vanilla.
Ooh.
Oh, beans.
That would be Madagascar.
Okay. Like, sorry,
Too late.
Ivory Coast.
Cacao.
Thank you. I should know this. My son
He
is
was
actually
so quick, too.
well, because I was thinking of the whole time of the vanilla bean. My son is actually managing a cocoa farm in Kauai, an organic cocoa farm.
Wow.
Yeah, Ryan.
On the
I
Big
should
Island?
know. I should know better than this.
Kauai.
Yeah.
Kauai.
Oh, well, you said on Kauai.
Kauai.
Number 2. One of Andy Warhol's most famous artworks is a set of 32 canvases, each bearing an image of a red and white can of soup. From what company?
Campbell.
Correct.
I've seen the real one in someone's house here in Hunts Point.
That owns one of the.
That he owned
You
one
have
of the-
fancy friends.
I didn't know until I opened the door. I went, wait, I know this. I mean, that thing is huge.
Wow, I'd love to see one in person. Number 3, the Reinheitsgebot is a series of regulations on the production of beer in what country?
Can you say it again?
The Reinheitsgebot.
I'm gonna guess Germany.
Correct.
Okay, good, because that's where the Rhine is.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty in his place again. The famous Humpty Dumpty character has appeared for centuries. What food is Humpty Dumpty commonly portrayed as?
I'm gonna guess a potato. That would be my
Audience.
first guess.
Give him a hand.
What is it? Huh? Egg. Oh, okay.
He's an egg.
All right, that's true. That would be an egg too.
Found on many types of sushi,
Uh-huh.
nori is the Japanese name for the edible species of the red algae genus Pyropia. It's frequently used in the format of dried sheets. What is the English term for this edible ingredient?
Seaweed.
Yay! How'd you do? 3?
Right now, I'm 3 out of 5. Yes. If we keep going at this rate,
Seaweed.
I should win.
All right.
All right, Lisa.
Lisa, your turn.
All right.
Lox is.
You know, at your age, Lisa.
She's going to get them all right.
Okay.
Lox is a fillet of the brine version of what type of fish?
Salmon.
Yes.
Salmon.
Number 2, although it expanded to grapefruit growers in 1976, the cooperative Ocean Spray had primarily focused on what other fruit throughout its existence?
Gonna try cranberry.
Yeah, you're rocking it. Number 3, what privately held corporation founded in 1911 in Tacoma, Washington, is a conglomerate that has not only its namesake bars popular around the world, but also M&M's, pet food, and animal care services? Who makes M&M's, in other words?
Not Hershey's.
Yep,
It's
you're
one of the
going
planets.
Oh, Mars.
to Mars. Yay!
Founded in Tacoma. What?
Yeah, that was news to me.
That
Wow.
was news to me too. Brown almond roca is Tacoma.
Yep, nope. That's where
I
Mars
did not know
started.
that.
Apples and coffees.
Dramatically different from today's sweet fruit associated with summertime. What large fruit was cultivated for hundreds of years simply for hydration purposes rather than food? Big fruit.
Watermelon.
Yeah.
Thank you for the clue.
Yeah. Hank, thanks for the clue.
Yeah.
There's a snack often associated with a type of entertainment venue. This snack has been created for thousands of years, but the accessibility increased rapidly in the 1890s with the invention of a dedicated machine. The snack is made from a species of Zea maize. What is this snack?
I was going for Chex Mix, but not
No.
for maize. Fritos?
Give her. I heard it.
Oh, popcorn.
Popcorn. 5 for
Sure.
5.
Oh my God.
5 out of 5.
Boy, way to
I
go.
mean, that was an easy 5.
Happy birthday to you.
I know.
I
Happy
guess.
birthday.
Nice
Lisa.
job.
Nicely job.
Nice
Come on,
job,
big round of
Lisa.
applause for Lisa.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Pam.
What is the common name for the food that is technically steam balls of crushed durum wheat semolina that originated as a Maghrebi dish served as a stew? It has a repetitive C in the name.
Gnocchi.
Repetitive C.
Couscous.
Couscous.
Couscous. Number 2. What common leafy
It's pasta.
green
Couscous. Why don't you just say,
is
what's pasta from Morocco?
I know.
because it's more fun this
Oh,
way to
okay.
torture you. What common leafy green is native to Persia and is often associated with a specific cartoon character who made his maritime debut in 1929?
Popeye.
What is the common leafy green?
Oh, spinach.
Yes, thank you. There's a dessert with a slightly mysterious origin. Is it from France, Spain, or England? No one knows. That is also known as a burnt cream or Trinity cream. What is it?
A creme brulee. Or a flan.
Very handsome. Correct. If you take a cabbage, cut it finely, ferment it with various lactic acid bacteria, the output is typically what side dish?
Sauerkraut.
Yes. And finally,
Choucroute.
horseradish was the first commercially packaged and sold foodstuff by what Pittsburgh-based company?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, Heinz is Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh based. I'm just not sure if they're
Go with your gut.
Heinz.
Heinz! Yay!
How about
How
that?
do you do?
4 out of 5.
All right.
Lisa kicked off the
Today's
team.
winner
Lisa is a big winner of the day. Happy birthday.
She gets to go shopping in the
She
gift
needs to
shop
go
for
shopping
3
in the-
free spice rubs. Congratulations, Lisa, and happy birthday. If you want to be part of the show, you can join the community on YouTube Live at Tom Douglas and Company. Also, remember, if you missed any episode of our Hot Stove Society show on Cairo, just listen via podcast. Subscribe with your favorite podcast app. The show is produced by Pamela Hinckley. Sean McFadden is our technical producer, and our magical Cairo editor is Sean Don't Call Me Del Torre. Thanks for listening.
Have a fabulous weekend.
It was on my sheet, and I just said it.
I know. It's okay.
Okay, we need quiet in the house for a couple of minutes, please. Hi, I'm Tom Douglas.
And I'm Thierry Roturo, the chef in the hat.
This afternoon on the Hot Stove Society radio show, we talk about dreamy edible flowers with the cookbook authors Aaron Bunting and Joe Fasser. I don't like that. What's the name of the book?
The edible flower.
The
Edible flower.
This afternoon on the Hot Stove Society radio show, we talk about dreamy edible flowers from a new cookbook called The Edible Flower. Milpa Masa folks from West Seattle are here to make tortillas, breakfast worth getting up for, and no muss dinner in a flash.
It's a wrap. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. See you next month. Bye, YouTubers.